All right, buddy. So what's your name and where you from?
My name is Rob. I'm originally from New Jersey. Born and raised in New Jersey. Whole
New
family's from Brooklyn.
Jersey.
Yeah, all from New Jersey, dirty
And
Jersey.
you're out there in Texas now, correct?
No, after everything that went down, I moved to Northern California next to one of my old team leaders I was in the military with.
All right, let's hear it, man. First off, let's start with the military scene. How'd you get in and how'd you leave?
All right, so originally I'm from New Jersey, and back 2002 to 2003, everybody started wanting to be a tough guy. Everyone smoked weed and wanted to do drugs and party, just the normal shit people do. But a couple of the guys I was hanging out with started getting into some bad stuff. One went away for murder and was convicted, and he's still locked up. They all were joining a gang out in Trenton, New Jersey, called the Sex, Money, Murder, Bloods gang, I believe, back then.
Okay.
So they were all getting down, and I'm a white boy. I wasn't about to, no disrespect. I just didn't fit in at that time. I know, and I follow one of the guys you had on. I know he's a blood out in Florida.
Oh, 1090. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
I just, I wasn't trying to be a gangster. I've never been a gangster. I just hung out with some gangsters.
Okay. Okay.
So as everyone started getting more in trouble, I ended up going to a crazy party, and I got jumped. Just over my stupid mouth. We're young, you're dumb, you got a big mouth. So I ended up. My dad said, "Look, you got to fix your life. You're either gonna end up in prison or you're gonna have to go to the military." So that's what I did. I chose to go in the military.
There's nothing else, just prison or military, man.
Yeah, that's how my dad looked at it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
he
a
was
lot of
military
dads look
too.
at it. Yeah.
He knew I wasn't going to college. I'd already dropped out and got a GED, and it was time to make some changes. So I joined the Army back in 2005 and I became a military police officer.
Okay,
And,
MP. All right.
I was an MP, correct.
And
Yep.
you were did you go overseas or anything?
I did. I was in Germany for a total of 6 years, and I was in northern Iraq back in 2007 for 15 months on foot with the 1st Armored Division with the 101st Airborne. Yeah.
Okay. So MPs, they're pretty much just regular soldiers if they're not doing like the policing work on base or something.
Yeah. So if you're an MP, you're garrison, which means you're basically regular police for the military community when you're in the rear. And when you're downrange, what I didn't know is we were going to be light infantry with just a little bit more firepower. I did not know that. My dad's like, "Yeah, join the MPs. You'll be getting a nice, cozy job." And next thing I
you'll
know,
be all right.
I'm pinned down on a roof a few times and getting put in the hospital. But I don't regret it. But the reason I follow you and a lot of the guys that you speak to in interview is because they went through a lot of shit in life, and I see that a lot of them are doing better now, but they're using everything they went through as like a tool, and knowledge, and that's so I never went away for a long time, but at 21 years old, I was in the desert for 15 months, and we didn't know if we were gonna make it to dinner chow or lunch chow, and when you're living minute to minute on patrol, wondering if a car is going to blow up in your face, that stuff stays with you just like prison would.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's definitely a life-changing experience.
Yeah, it was definitely nothing I would recommend. So actually, when I ended up getting out, I kind of just switched over. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything else. I didn't have any specialties besides being an MP and weapons and combat. And
well, how'd you get out? I hate to stop you, but how'd you end up getting out? Just a regular honorable discharge? And
no, actually, so everyone likes big soldiers. They frown upon using steroids. So I was processed out with a general under honorable for the possible sale of serious narcotics, which was steroids. So a bunch of myself and my troops, everyone was doing certain things, and I took the rap for everybody so that they wouldn't get in trouble. And I got processed out. But we fought it a couple years later due to some small gray area in the paperwork. I ended up getting an honorable discharge, and I got all my benefits. So it worked out, thankfully.
okay. Well, that's all right.
Yeah, it took a while. It was not easy. I couldn't even get a job once I got out. After everything I did to not even be able to get a job, it was hard. Because because that's on your background, serious narcotics, or the sale of what they thought was. When I really wasn't. A few of us were juicing. Somebody got caught, and I happened to be the sergeant. So I said, I'm going to take a rap for you guys, and everyone just shut your mouth. And I got it from here. And that's what I
didn't
did.
know they did like testing for steroids, man, in the military.
Yeah, they want you
You would think
strong, but
you would think they want everybody going
yeah,
down. Like,
oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I told the colonel that. I said, last week you had me in a tug of war competition for the brigade, and you loved me.
Oh
And now
man, he
you're
don't
kicking
want you now
me.
that you won. He don't want you
Yeah,
now.
get out. You want to take some testosterone? Get your ass out.
Yeah, I know that's right. Well, look, before we leave the military thing, I gotta ask this, man, because I asked everyone that came on that was in the military, went overseas. What was the craziest thing you've seen over there, man?
Overseas?
Yeah, Iraq. You said you did some time in Iraq, right? Northern Iraq. I'm guessing
Yeah.
that was probably worse than Germany. If I were to guess.
Yeah. So we did mounted and dismounted patrols for almost 12 hours every day. All right. So one of the craziest things that I saw, and I had been hit by a roadside bomb and put in the hospital. A lot of us got blown up, and we were in a lot of firefights. It's normal to be firing your weapon. And I've been pinned down on roofs. Just basic crap every soldier goes through, every service member, except for the keyboard warriors that never leave the base. But it's this, to get in a firefight is to like see a fight in jail. It's just gonna happen. One of the craziest things I can say.
Damn, you getting blown up a little bit wasn't the craziest thing?
For me personally, to go through, yeah, but I got knocked out, so it was like, I just remember waking up and I couldn't hear very well. I was really dazed, and I just remember my buddy Sergeant Moreno grabbing me by the vest, and I remember just telling him, don't let me bleed out. I didn't know, because you have all that adrenaline, you don't know if you're, you don't know what's going on. I did not know. Yeah. They ended up, and then we got into a little fight after that, and we had to head out and take me and another guy, White, to the hospital to get checked out, and we needed new trucks because the trucks were pretty much gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess personally that was probably the craziest. But we had been hit before. That one just happened to be super big, and right on my back left door. And I'll send you the proof for that as well. Oh, I got here's a crazy story real quick, backtrack. So one night we get spun up. It's spun up means that get in the trucks, we got to go. Nobody tells us nothing, but we know we got to go to the hospital and to create Saddam Hussein's hometown. 2007 was a very bad time. It was, I think, the highest death toll in the whole war. So it's like 2 a.m. and we get sent to the hospital to pull security. And I'm in an ER. There's tons of people. Well, with my machine gun, I got an M249, and we're all in there. There's like 12 of us, and we don't know why we're there. Next thing we know, this big vehicle pulls up. I won't say the type, and a bunch of the cool guys get out. A couple guys in certain elements over there that did basically whatever they want. We call them the cool guys. Cool gear, cool beards,
tatted the hell up and shit.
Yeah. And they run in. We didn't know they were coming, or at least I didn't. I was just a soldier. And they run in.
Cool boys, boy. Yeah. They pulled up in a Lambo.
Yeah, they pulled up in a Ferrari. Yep, smoking doobies. Like, what's up? So I'm sitting in the ER. These guys run in with beards, and they're so trained and so elite, but they're so down to earth. I remember one ran by me. He's like, "What's up, kid?" Like nothing. Like, we're not in Iraq. Like, he just saw me in the mall. "What's up, kid?" And then he kept going. They go in an elevator, and they disappear for 20 minutes. I'm pulling security in the ER. We're near the exit. The elevator opens. They come out smiling, and they got a gurney with a potty on it, and then they leave. Now I'm thinking,
what's a potty?
A body.
A body. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking at my buddy. I'm like, did we just help these cool guys like take a body like from a hospital? Like, what it's blowing my mind because we didn't even know why we were there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I never even got the answers to that. It might have been somebody that needed to identify that they needed to confirm, but that was like the most mind blowing thing I was ever a part of.
Yeah, they were just taking them to Denny's.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Go
just
get some
keep it like that.
pancakes. Yeah, yeah. That
That's
was
crazy though. That is crazy, man.
yeah, the way that the life is over there, and that's why when I didn't do much time at all. But when I was in, county, and I know you'll ask, that's why people said, yeah, you must have been here before. I wasn't, but I had slept on a cot for 15 months in a room with 20 people in the desert. So, um,
Yeah. I tell
and I
people
would,
all the time there are similarities, but you got people that say you can't compare the military to prison, but for real, there's a lot of similarities, man.
yeah,
Because we're snatched away from our loved ones. Even though one
yeah,
chooses and one doesn't, it doesn't matter. We're all wanting the same things, pretty much. Phone call, letters,
yep.
food, stuff like that. So
Basic, yeah, human needs we
yeah,
didn't have. Shower,
yeah,
baby wipes, and powder were all I pretty much cleanliness products was all I cared about.
yeah.
Um, and just getting through the day. But yeah, so when I was down for the short time, I mean, all we did was play bones and cards. So it was I adapted well, thankfully. Um, I hid the fact that I was freaked out. And if anyone says they're not scared, they're full of shit. I don't care how bad you are. Somebody's badder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what'd you do after the military?
I went back to New Jersey. We stayed at my dad's for a little while. And then I ended up getting the Department of Defense job where I was pretty much. You ever go to the military bases and the guys in the police uniforms check the IDs at the
Yeah,
gates?
yeah,
I was one of those. I was one of those guys.
yeah.
Now the problem with that is I was a corporal and I was in charge of checking everyone's background when they got on base. And the base is 40 minutes from the same jail I ended up going to. So everybody that I told could not come on base because they were a felon, I was now possibly in jail with.
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
it was definitely yeah, it was pretty freaky because I'm sleeved out. As you can see, I'm pretty covered. I didn't have most of the neck, but I had some in my hands, and I'm very noticeable. Just like you have a bunch of tats. We're
Yeah,
noticeable to people. They're gonna remember us. So I
yeah.
didn't know who was in that jail. That was like, I was just trying to go to work that day, and he didn't let me on base, and I didn't feed my kids because of this guy. When I was just doing my job because I have kids, and it was definitely freaky for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, when I ended up, but that was in Texas. I got the job back, and I was stationed in Louisiana. That's where my last duty station was, Fort Polk,
Okay.
Louisiana. It's on the
Okay.
border of Texas. So my ex-wife is from that area, so we went back to that area to where she's from, and I needed a job, so I hit up one of the military guys that I knew, and they had a position open for me to work the gates as a DoD, guard slash police officer. So I did it. I only did it for about 18 months, but before that I was an MP. So to anyone else who's looks at me from the outside, I'm a pig. I'm a cop. No matter what I've done after that, you wore a badge, you've arrested people, you're a
Oh, so
snitch.
you were like a legitimate cop after military, or was it
No, I was a
military
guard.
police?
I was always just military police, and then I was a guard. I was a
Okay.
guard, so we had like detainability authorities. I could stop people at the gate and then call the
But it
police to
was
come get them.
all still on base.
Yeah, it was all on base. No, I was never like a civilian cop or anything.
Oh, like okay, like a city cop or something like that. Okay,
No, no.
okay. Well, I mean, there's a little different, a little
Yeah, I
difference
just
there,
worked. I was just a soldier and an MP for soldiers. Yeah, I would never wore like an actual badge in this civilian world.
Okay.
Um,
Well, let me ask you this, man. When you say you got locked up, and look, ladies and gentlemen, he was only locked up for how long? You said a month?
yeah, about a month. Yeah, in Jasper County, Texas. Well,
Jasper County.
I started in near Beaumont, Jefferson County, which is where I got my first taste of why you shouldn't have certain tattoos if you don't know what the meaning of them
Oh, let's
are.
hear it,
So,
man. What happened?
well, let me backtrack. So I had gotten in trouble, and I sent you the link proving that I had got picked up for aggravated kidnapping, which I beat 2 years later. And it shouldn't have been that way. But let's just say if you don't let someone go somewhere, no matter who they are, if you love them or not, and you have a weapon on you, it's aggravated kidnapping.
Over here in Virginia, it's abduction. That's what I beat. I had that shit too. And if you just pull someone against their will 6 inches, anything like that, it's
Yeah.
abduction in Virginia, man.
Yep.
So, Yeah, it's
So now
legit.
you got not just a regular guy, you got a trained Iraq combat vet who's an armed person with a lot of, I was going through a bad drug addiction to opiates and a lot of post-traumatic stress. Everything that's took me to the path I was in was because of PTSD from the war. So now that's all they know. We got to go pick up this Iraq vet who's got a weapon on him and he's got PTSD and he's high. So it definitely.
They came in full force, huh?
Yeah, I was in barber college actually. I had resigned from the DoD. I got tired of just working for the man. The Army has a GI Bill program where you can go to technical school or college, and I went to barber college out in Beaumont. Yeah, so they, it's funny. This will crack you up. I'm the only white boy in the whole barber college in the hood of Beaumont, Texas, right?
Oh, got nothing but black
Yeah,
barbers in there, huh?
all of them. So when the cops pull up with like the small SWAT team, and they pull up to the front, everyone in the barbershop starts running because they don't know if
They
they're
all
coming
thought
for
it was that. They're in the hood too, boy. Hell no. They're like, oh. Hey,
They're like,
that's
oh
funny, man.
shit! Clippers were flying. People were running out the back door. They didn't know he was coming for the white boy.
The only white guy in the damn building he was coming after, man. They're like,
Yeah,
oh shit.
ever, man.
All
Beaumont's
right, that's
crazy.
funny.
So they picked me up. I went to Jefferson County where I originally got processed for the charge. I still don't know what's going on because I couldn't put two and two together what had happened a few days ago to this charge. I'm like, you're out of your mind. Kidnapping me, duct taping someone in the basement, not taking them, not keeping them at Walmart while you're food shopping and saying we're not going home now. Stupid shit.
Yeah.
So they picked me up, and I go to Jefferson County. It's my first taste of being on the other side of a cell ever. And then they send me to population. They don't know up in Beaumont that I was military police or knew the sheriffs or anybody. They don't know me at all. I'm just a tatted up white boy who has a bad charge. So they throw me in with the wolves. It's 58 men to a tank. And not just that I'm new to this whole thing. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a Yankee. So I don't fit in with the whites down there.
Yeah.
I'm not a Wood. I didn't know anything about Woods. I didn't know about the AB. I didn't know anything about gangs, period, at all. Besides that, I had a couple of friends that joined the Bloods when I was younger, but I didn't know anything about it. Besides that they were red and Crips are blue. I was very naive to all of it.
Yeah.
So we go. I get processed in. Now I'm coming down. Because I was using opiates, pills. So now I'm just bugging out. They're telling me the charge, and now I'm in a 58-man tank. So I'm freaked out. Not so much freaked out of the jail at the time. I'm freaked out of what's going on in my life. And then after all the shit that's going on, I got a bunch of guys come up to me and go, "What's that tattoo on your hand?" So back in the day, my ex-wife and I got, the idea that I wanted to get a crown on my hand, and she wanted to get one on her body for like husband and wife, king and queen.
King, queen, yeah.
And that was the extent of it. I did not know that a 5-point crown meant some type of blood or Latin king or any of that. No idea.
That's the worst one you can get.
Oh man. Well, I got more points on it.
Oh yeah, you gotta add about 17 more points on that sucker to get it going good.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna have to change it into a skull or something else. But so I'm already tired. I'm coming down off of whatever I was going through, and I got approached by there's a lot of 5 Deuce Crips in that area from Houston all the way to Southeast Texas. A lot of Hoover Crips, and I don't know anything about that stuff. I just want to eat the shitty food that you threw in front of me, and I want to be left alone. Well, that's not how it works. So, so they have. I've heard some other stories they call it test of heart. They have heart checks, same thing. And I'm like, man, So we go into the bathroom because I'm like,
oh, so
I know
they're
a little
ready
bit.
to fight. They're ready to fight you.
Yeah, right then. I can't explain why I got this tattoo. They don't like what I have to say. And
so it's pretty much over the tattoo. And they're like, yo.
It was that and probably just them wanting to just try to, see what I was about. Because I'm like 6 foot 220. And I'm pretty tatted up. I usually stay pretty fit. So they just probably wanted to see what the white boy was about.
Well, how did they roll up on you? Were they like, hey, come meet me in the bathroom, bro. We're about to get it in. I mean, how did they...
I had like two younger it was a lot of younger guys, and what I've realized is until they switched a lot of people in the tanks around where it was older, you don't want to be around the tank full of younger cats because they're just wild as hell. They want to fight all day and smoke when the guards are around, and they're just out of their mind. So it was some younger cats that came approached me, and they were like, "Hey, him over there, he has the same tattoo. He's saying you ain't about it or something." And I'm like, I ain't about it. I just want to eat this stupid ass cornbread. Leave me alone. So we go in the bathroom, and I have a pretty strong background in mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, and I was a non-lethal weapons instructor certified through the Marine Corps, and I did a lot of the training for the military police over the years. And
Marine Corps? I thought you were in the Army, dude.
No, they came and taught. It's an inter-service course.
Oh, okay.
It's a Marine Corps led course. So I went through that. And we do a lot of combatives, and that was like my forte was non-lethal weapons and fighting, and that's just what I was used to. So to go into a one-on-one with somebody, I was more scared of getting stabbed or getting another charge. That was the biggest fear of mine, was getting more charges, having to stick up for myself. So I tried to talk my way out of it until I couldn't, and I just let him hit me first. And it didn't really, it didn't go. It wasn't a brawl. I just double legged him. I took him down, a couple of elbows, just kind of held him down and was like, stop. And then I guess I learned my first lesson that shit don't happen in jail, because then his boys came in and, they just dogpiled me. And then it got broken up only about a minute later, maybe. But a minute is a lifetime when you're getting kicked in the face.
Especially to a cigarette smoker like me. I got about 20 seconds to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm passed out after that.
I was definitely, and I'm scared. I don't know if someone's going to shank. I don't know what. I'm in jail. I've never, I've only been on the other side.
Yeah.
So the guards come in, and obviously I didn't say nothing. I was a little bloodied up, and I was just like, I fell. Same thing I hear everybody say, because I just didn't want to cause any more problems and be that guy, because I was facing 5 to 99 years. So I didn't want to have that stay with me, that I was a snitch or a punk, that was not going to stick up for himself. So the next morning I get moved to the county where the charge was from, Jasper County, Texas. And this is a smaller jail, maybe like 500, maybe less. But there was 12-man tanks, but they were overflowed up to like almost 20 at the time. And but the first week I was there, I was in solitary, which was another. I mean, we think we have rights because we're in America, But I'll tell you what, I try to explain to people now, and I didn't do any time. The time I say is 15 months in the war. To me, that was time for me. But a week in solitary and it was during Hurricane Harvey, so the whole town was flooding. The power was out. I'm hearing on the news that the town my kids are in is underwater and being evacuated. And I'm asking the guards through the bean chute, can I get a phone call? And they're just cussing you off. Shut up, kicking the door. And, so you really get humbled quick on that. You don't matter, and that this is not a place you want to be.
It's their house now, you know what I mean, for the most part. That's how it goes, man. I mean, so would you say it was worse being in jail for that little bit of time than overseas?
Okay, so the violence-wise, no, because I wasn't worried about getting shot or my legs blown off.
Blown up, yeah.
But I felt that I lost all human rights and respect for myself, and I was also like withdrawing from what I was doing. So I was just and I'm facing 5 to 99 years. They're telling me I can't see my children. They're laughing at me saying, you're never getting out of jail. Your bail's $350,000. And you can't go home. I got served divorce papers at this time. It was literally my whole world crashing down.
Bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got so crazy in the tank, in the solitary. I said, look, you guys know me. They knew that I was, they knew my background. So they were keeping me away from population because they didn't want me to get hurt because I was an MP. They didn't know how it would translate, in the tanks. I'm like, look, man, if I need help, I'll tell you guys, but I need some type of communication with people. You got to get me the hell out of here. So they put me, finally, after a week, um, uh, they put me in a tank. And it was a crazy tank, but I was happy to be in a tank with people, just to be able to talk, because everyone in there, 90% of people in county jail, didn't do nothing crazy, and they just want to go home, and they're good people. Then you got the 10% that, are just waiting to be transferred to, TDC, Texas Department of Corrections, or wherever they're at, and they don't care. We had a kid in there. He was only 24. He had already done 8 years. Mexican mafia guy, whole face tattooed, armed robbery, all the stuff. That kid, he ended up getting tased on the rec yard for talking shit to one of the Spanish guards, and they just had enough, and they green suited him up, which is that crazy,
Yeah.
because there was just the younger crowd was in the tank, so that was pretty crazy. There was a bunch of fights, and then I guess they had got a reoccurring offender who they knew was like a big guy who did time. A friend of mine, actually, now he's down for 10 years in Texas, but we became friends. He actually had my 6 in there, took care of me. So they brought him in the tank because it was deemed like an aggressive tank. I didn't have any problems in that tank. There was a lot of smaller, weaker looking people. So and maybe they were stronger than me, but I just didn't get messed with as much in that tank. But there was a lot of young people, and they were fighting all the day and just taking people's trays, and I wasn't gonna let that happen to me. And I think they knew it. So, and these are smaller, younger guys. I don't know how I'd react if I had some older guy who did, 10 years come up to me. I don't know what I would do, to be honest. I wanted to go home. I certainly didn't want to get my teeth kicked in over, an apple. So I don't know what. I probably would have had to scrap like I did the first night, and hope they left me alone after that. But I just wasn't bothered in this smaller environment. But they brought in Dub J, and he kind of weeded everybody out and shut every, because all of them were younger and wanted to be, or I won't say want to be gangbangers, but they they looked up to people that had done it before. So when he came in, a lot of them calmed down and shut up, because he said, "I'm not doing your time, I'm doing my time. So, TV's going to be off. We're going to sleep like men. You're not going to be smoking cigarettes in the daytime, and the guards are around and get us all." Because they came in and raided us a few times, and that was the only time I got mad, when they said they're going to take our phone privileges if we got caught with more contraband. So I kind of called everyone in the tank out. Said, if I can't call my daughter because of one of you, right, wrong, or indifferent, or if I get my ass beat or not, we're going to scrap, because I wanted to talk to my daughter really bad. But Dub J calmed it down, but then he got comfortable. He actually made 2 older guys fight, and if they didn't, I guess he was bored, and he made 2 old men fight each other, some old white guys. I don't know. Just the way that the minds worked in that place. I don't recommend it for everybody, and for anybody. And that's why I wanted to come on here. I know most of your audience is probably people that have done a lot of time, but there's probably a lot of people that have not, that just enjoy it, or a lot of people that did a short little thing like me that faced a lot of time. I ended up getting bailed out thanks to my dad, and I'm grateful. But there's a lot of people that probably have a similar story, but they're embarrassed. Like, well, I didn't do 10 years or 8 years like yourself, or, I never killed nobody. So they don't want to talk about it. But if they did, they might be able to help somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it's a crazy time, man.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. All right, so would you rather do 2 years in combat or a year in jail?
I'd rather do 2 years in jail than another month in combat.
Oh, really?
Facts, for sure.
Damn, dude, that's cool,
and
man.
Yeah, with that, well, shit. Where I was at the time, every day was my last day. We lost, and I still lose guys to suicide. I've lost 4 friends in the last 4 months to overdose and suicide from PTSD. They just can't handle what we went through. And I lost my whole family to addiction, and my whole house. I had a beautiful house, beautiful life, wife, kids, job. Lost everything to addiction because I couldn't deal with the nightmares, and I didn't know how to express myself. So I finally, got clean. I'm 28 months clean. I haven't done any opiates or anything since July of 2017. So
congratulations, man. That's good. And you're a tattoo artist now, right?
No, I'm a master
I
barber.
mean, barber. My fault.
Yeah,
I'm so used to seeing people sitting in a chair and you're just going, but yeah,
I
barber.
wanted to do that, but the Army,
Yeah,
they're not paying for tattoos. They'll pay for a real technical school, and I got
yeah.
3 kids, so I couldn't. But I was super grateful. They dropped all the charges in May. I went to the grand jury. I was found not guilty, but it's still, if you Google my name, or it's still left a black spot over my name, especially in that town, which is why I had to move. I had to go and refine who I was, and if I can help anyone watching this, if you're in a situation going through addiction, and that you're not that bad person. Listened to your story the other day, brother. Like, you defended yourself on your own lawn.
Tell me about it. Don't remind me, man.
You know,
Shit ruined my life. Not really, but I
it's
mean, it did for the moment, and it was bullshit. It was bullshit,
absolutely
man. I got
on your own
railroaded.
lawn.
Yeah, I got
So
railroaded, man.
a lot of people identify with what they've done, and they can't get past it. I don't go to meetings because I do not want to say, "Hey, I'm Rob. I'm an addict," because I'm not an addict. I just went through some shit, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And then I got older and more experienced and some knowledge, and I got past. It's still on my back, and it always will be. Just like what you went through, and everyone that
Yeah.
watches. We're all gonna have shit on our backs, but it's how we deal with it. And I dealt with it very wrong at that time, facing 5 to 99 years, and being from New Jersey, and I'm in Southeast Texas. I didn't know. When you tell me that, it's gold to me. You're the judge. I don't know what that means. All I know, my life's over.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I listen to your guys' stuff. Because I get something. I gain something every time I listen to one of your guys talk. I really
That's
do.
good, man. That's why I hope everyone gets a little something from it. When I got put into jail, I didn't know what the hell abduction meant. I started telling people what I had, and they're like, "Whoo, boy, you ain't getting out for a very, very long time, man." I'm like, "What?" I'm terrified, right? People don't understand how easy it is to be facing a lot of time, man, and it's really scary, man. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep because I thought I was gonna be getting like 50 years in prison. I mean, some days would be better. It was like a bipolar. I was bipolar a little bit. I mean, some days would be good, and I'd be like relaxed. I'd be like everything's gonna be okay, and the next day I won't eat nothing. I'll just be like, man, I'm never gonna see the streets again. And this shit is depressing as hell. So I can understand how you were going through it. I mean, luckily you got out, got bonded. But when you're sitting in there, man, and you're going through your court dates, it's for charges like that, it's terrifying, dude. You know what I mean? I mean, it is just, it's unexplainable, man, to know that someone has the power to snatch your life away for decades.